welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. Today we're going to be playing through HEXplore It, the Valley of the Dead King. We're going to continue our journey. Now in the last video we had completed a quest here in the Mage Tower, which essentially had a portal within it, which allowed us on the next turn, which is this coming turn right now, to basically teleport anywhere on the map that we choose. There's so many different places we can go. Now, the first thing I want to mention is the most popular suggestions from the last video because I think they're fantastic. The two most popular suggestions for the portal were to either go after the bounty itself, which was to take on the big monster there called the Gray Slime, which will be the first big boss that we fought, or to actually teleport towards the edge of the map and explore out into its exterior spaces, which we haven't seen yet. So we don't know what's off to the east and to the west of our map yet, but they could reveal things like shrines. If we find a shrine, the benefit of finding a shrine is that we can get talisman, and talisman will allow us to head back to a fallen city and be able to try to reclaim it. We need those in order to reclaim cities. So at some point during this playthrough, that's going to become very important as the Dead King continues to knock cities down. We are going to need to reclaim a couple to control the Dead King's movement, because if its movement gets out of control, he's going to be able to bounce between cities very quickly and then eventually come for us, and we don't want that to happen. So in this particular episode, what we're going to do is we're going to start right off with the movement, and there's a number of things that I'm thinking of doing, and I want to thank everybody for putting their suggestions in because all of them were completely valid. We absolutely could have gone for the bounty, and we absolutely could go to essentially the outer edge of the map, and I think those are the two most popular suggestions, but I have a plan in mind of how we can potentially make the best bang for our buck in terms of this portal, and I hope it's going to pan out in a good way, and we'll go through that right now. So after taking everybody's suggestions into account, I really like the idea overall of exploring the map further. I really want to try to find more places to search and look at throughout the map. So what I'm going to do is do something that really is to my advantage right now because of the fact we can teleport anywhere on the map. The key point in that is when you can teleport anywhere in the map, of course there's a number of single things you can do, but I think there's a way that we can actually make this the most productive turn, and that's by exploring multiple tiles. I'll show you how we're going to do that. Now originally I was thinking about potentially teleporting to this quest right here, which would be very helpful because not only would we be revealing a map tile, because as soon as you're on the border of land, you have to surround yourself with additional hexes or additional poles for map tiles here. But what I'm going to do instead is, yes, this will be a target of something of interest for me in terms of heading here, which would actually start the quest arc, which is something that wasn't even highlighted in the last video as a potential option for me, but now I'm thinking it might be. The other thing that's a really cool benefit is we've got a boss number 1 up here, which is really close by, but I'm thinking if we go ahead and we teleport ourselves not to this location right here on the edge where we'd only be able to pull 1 tile, but strategically actually teleport ourselves here. Now, by doing it here, we have to, whenever you go to the edge of the map, surround yourself with, you have to basically keep revealing tiles until you're completely surrounded by tiles. So in other words, there's different ways to use the game system in order to help you explore additional tiles so we can get more than one just by being on the edge of the map. So I'll show you how that's going to work. Well, first off, we're going to go into our movement phase for the heroes. And we're going to use our teleportation. I've only put this die here just as a reminder that I'm using the teleportation. We also know the quest has been completed, so this quest now can actually forever sit flipped up until we get to a city that hasn't fallen in order to gain our bounty, or our power-up card, I should say, which I guess is a bounty in a way. So what we're going to do is we're going to have our teleport take us from this tower here, which again we can remove this quest marker because we've now completed that quest, so it doesn't need to be there anymore. And we're going to teleport ourselves all the way over to this position right here. Now by doing this, the second that you're on the edge of the map, you have to reveal tiles. So we're going to go ahead and do that and see what we find. So the first tile we've got here, hey, look at that, we've got a shrine. That's exactly what we wanted, and I don't know exactly what that is 100% just yet because I haven't seen that on the map, but it's something of interest for sure. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop this. Now, again, you're going to position this in a way that makes sense. You can orientate it however you like. So that's the really cool thing about this. We can position it in whichever direction we want that's maybe advantageous to us. Of course, if we... I'm wondering actually whether or not, in terms of movement, it might make sense to potentially, let me see here. Well, we want the shrine to be relatively close to us, so maybe we can position it like this would make the most sense, I think, so that it's the closest to us. So we'll position it just like that, and that works pretty good for us. The next tile that we have to reveal will have to be over here, because again, the way I position myself, I have to surround myself with other tiles. So we're gonna go ahead and grab another tile from the stack. And what do we get? We have a couple interesting things here that I'm noticing. So again, some quests may call for these locations. We've got a few here. We got one down here, and then we have one right there. So these are all some new symbols that I'll go over with you guys so you understand what they all are. But first, let's put them into position. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe put it in like, I don't know which one's which. So you know what I'm going to do before we actually place this one down is we're going to go and look up these icons for you guys so you guys can get a better understanding of what these three things are. And then we'll place this tile strategically where we'd like it on the map. So these locations right here that have this symbol or icon, they're considered rune locations. And runes are outlined in green, which is very hard to see. They're kind of a dark green on camera. They're easy to see in person, but on camera they kind of blend in a little bit. But essentially, they're old places full of peril and long abandoned areas. Players can visit those runes to press their luck, hoping to find adventure and riches. There are 7 runes to find. So it looks like we found 2 of them to potentially go and explore. So that's really cool. Of course, we know what shrines are, but I'll go over that again because I think in the last video there was some confusion as to what we actually needed to have equipped in order to go after a fallen city. As you can see here on the battle map, there's a tracking ability for the talismans that you collected, and you're going to need one at each shrine, which is available at each shrine, in order to try to take back a fallen city. So shrines are outlined in blue, so as you can see just like that, and they're going to be spread across the game board in various tiles, and players can come there to heal for free, so that's one of the best options for them, although our party doesn't need healing currently. But in addition, they'll find a new marketplace and may even gain a blessing there. There are 4 shrines to find. Consult the shrine card for more details. So we're not going to go into that, but essentially there is a specific game reference card when we get to the shrine. I'll show you that. And that'll allow us to potentially pick up some things there, blessings and whatnot, and obviously talisman, as I mentioned. So we are able to orientate this in any way we want, and I took a look. We've got a couple of icons here, but they're not general icons like these white ones are. So in other words, quests are typically tied to these ones, so we may or may not need to go there. So in terms of orientation, I guess the one that makes the most sense would be to put the runes closest to us, I think, because it sounds like we have potential to get something really cool there. We also kind of want to keep maybe one of them pretty close to us, so maybe the runes and this little castle keep kind of thing. So we'll orient it like this, I think would be a good way to do it. So now we have the runes right next to us, and we also have this castle keep right here, but if we happen to have to go to G, it's going to be quite some distance away. But now we've got quite a little bit more to explore in the world, and all we've done to this point is just used our teleport. We haven't even begun our turn yet. You're going to start to see my strategy in terms of what I wanted to do. So now during the movement phase of our turn, what I'm thinking of doing is moving 2 spaces, which I can do now thanks to our reliable mounts. I'm going to move cautiously to this quest location. The reason I want to go here instead of anywhere else around me is because we're going to go ahead and try to start the quest arc, and all I have to do essentially is get to this location and roll a success on the green navigate die. And if I do, then we can obtain a scout's report that's there and bring it back to any city of our choice. Now, that doesn't seem like it would have a lot of benefits, except that it does because we recently completed this quest. Now, we can't turn this quest in because a quest arc is handled differently. You have to complete all the quests that are underneath a quest arc before you can actually turn it in. But with this quest, we could turn in and gain an instant power-up card, which I think I'd like to have before we go in to a big boss battle. I think that'll be a nice advantage for us. So I'm going to go with that, and that's why I kind of want to let you guys know I'm doing a little bit of both suggestions, but I also thought going after double tiles for reveal would be really good. So we're going to go ahead and move cautiously this turn. Now again, before we do it, we have camping gear, but we don't need it, so we don't need to bump up our vitals, even though we have camping gear on our characters, which are always healing 1 and giving us an extra energy. But anyway, we're moving cautiously, so we're going to move to this location right here, and because we've done that, we are going to have to go ahead and roll in the circumstance chart when we have a chance here, but we have the ability to discard it if we want. First off, we have to roll our skill checks for this particular movement, and it's a blue and a yellow for each character. So let's go down here, grab our guardian dice, and see if we get lucky. We got a 2 and we got a 5. Those actually aren't bad rolls. We'll come over here to the summoner. Now the summoner's going to roll, and what does the summoner get? A 2 and a 6. So it looks like we didn't do all that bad. For the guardian has a 3 and a 3, so we actually succeeded at our survival, which means we don't have to consume any food. That's fantastic. And then this 5 here, we obviously failed finding any gold or treasure. If we come over here to the summoner, we actually found some gold because I have a 4 in explore, so we can go ahead and tick up our gold, which is not bad because, well, we already have 2. Why not get 4, or at least find 2 more to add it up to 4? So that's going to help us when we get to a city where we can potentially buy some good stuff. And then, of course, this right here, well, we failed our survival check, so we're going to have to drop our food by 2, which is our food rating. So we'll go ahead and erase 2, so we're from 8 down to 6. Just like that. All right. So that resolves all the skills. Now we have to go to the circumstance. So we're going to go ahead and roll a die to determine what circumstance we're going to be doing. We got a 1. So a 1 is going to be, oh no, that is bad. So after some thought about this, I was going to go ahead and fight this plague beast, but I really think the difficulty level is far beyond what we can handle right now. I'm taking a look at what it can potentially do to us if we try to fight it. And yes, 7 gold is very tempting, but this is right here that we would, dual target health and energy. So it's gonna defend 4. You lose 9 energy off the group, which is crazy, or triple target health. I don't think we can handle this particular plague beast right now, and because we moved in a cautious manner, we are able to discard this, and I think I'm going to do that in order to avoid us dying or taking extreme amounts of damage. So we're going to get rid of that. We have to replenish the circumstance area, and we ended up with a affliction. Oh, this is not good. Maimed. The hero, oh my goodness. So that's going to be something that, again, won't trigger right now, but it could potentially trigger later on. So this is really, really bad. We're going to end up losing energy. That's really bad. It looks like it's going to hang around for a while. That's kind of how those afflictions work, is you basically will end up putting a hex die on it, and it's going to tick down over a number of game rounds and hinder the party in general. But anyway, we've gone past the circumstance point, so now we can move to the event. So we are currently on a quest, and I currently am right here. We need a navigate roll, so each of our characters is going to be rolling, and we can roll 1 at a time. My summoner has a 1, so the chances of landing this is probably 0, but hey, we'll give it a shot. I got a 5, so that's a fail, so we didn't get the success there. The Guardian, however, is much higher up and has a much better chance. So here's hoping that this pans out for us. Oh, it did not. Okay, so we did not successfully do the quest arc, so we're going to have to pass by that now. And we're going to move to the Dead King. So the Dead King right now is going to, well, actually his target has already been identified. So at this particular point, he's just going to start moving in this direction continually. So he's going to move another 1, 2. So he's actually heading along the river here towards this city, which is really bad. He's getting closer and closer to that. Okay, so that wraps up this particular game term. We're going to start right back up with the movement again. So this is where I have to make some decisions. Do I want to risk sitting here and trying to complete the quest arc, or trying to get this in order to get this power card in order to go to after a boss, or do I just go straight for a boss? I could move right to the boss and just do the Bandit Prince, which I'm pretty sure I could handle. And it would give us a lot of benefits beyond, I think, just 1 quest turn in. So maybe because everything's so close by, oh, this is tough, I might do that. Now, the other thing I want to check in on is the shrine. What can happen when we get to a shrine in terms of what can we purchase? Because that could really, really determine how we're going to move forward. So I'm going to grab the Shrines card here, which I don't know if you guys have seen yet, and we'll talk a little bit about what's on this particular one. So again, when we land on the Shrine, if we happen to go there, there's things you can buy like rations, there's tonic, pouches, runes, there's the talisman, so it's only 4 gold per hero. So currently we have 4 on the Summoner, which is right there, and we now have 2 on the Guardian. So that's not bad, but we need a little bit more gold. So going after a boss wouldn't be a bad idea. At least we would potentially gain enough gold to go buy the talisman. I think that's the right thing to do. So I gave it a shot here at the quest arc. We at least got to reveal some 2 tiles. That was a plus. Let's go ahead and head towards number 1. I was going to do 2, but let's go to number 1. And it's a little bit further away now. So we're going to do a normal movement, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're here in this particular spot. And again, we have now moved normally. And so because we've moved normally, we're going to have to roll all of our dice and hope that we don't consume too much here on the skill side of things. Now, when we move normal, the downside with this is we're going to go into the circumstance section of this turn, and whatever we pull, we're going to have to deal with. And I can tell you right now, it's kind of a mix. We've got a hag up there who we should be able to handle. The maimed could be bad, but there's 3 other things that seem somewhat decent and helpful. But I'm going to risk it. So now that we got rid of that plague beast out of there, I think we have a safer bet. So I'm rolling right now for the guardian here for the skills after movement. We got a 7, we got a 3, and we got a 4. So those actually aren't terrible rolls. Let's go ahead and roll this off for the summoner and find out what happens for the summoner. Hey, we got a hex. That's really good. Okay, so let's go ahead and resolve these one at a time. So first off, we're going to do our navigate. So our navigate is a 7, which means we failed the navigate over here. And we actually technically failed the navigate over here as well. But something to remember, guys, is we got this amazing treasure earlier on, and right at the bottom here it says while you carry this treasure, you may choose to ignore any wander result. In addition, the item may be used twice, so we have the ability to use it twice to gain extra movement and have another event phase. So that's something that could be worth talking about later on. And I know I could have technically done that here to do another event phase, but I want to hold on to this for later because I think it's going to be even more beneficial in the long term. So with that being said, we don't have to roll the wandering die because we are carrying that particular astrolabe, which is awesome. But now we can just go ahead and ignore those 2 failures on the navigate die and move on to the gold. So we actually did succeed on the gold. So guys, we have enough technically right now to actually go to the shrine and buy a talisman. Interesting. So we didn't even need to go. We got really lucky there. If I come over here, a 7, of course, is a big fail on that particular one, so no extra gold for the summoner. And then we're going to come back over here to the blue die, which is for survival, and we got a 4, so that is a fail on the survival, so I will have to consume 1 food, so now we're down to 2. We're going to have to think about heading to a city very, very soon. Come over here to the summoner who landed a hex, so absolutely does not have to spend any food whatsoever. The good thing is when we're out of combat we can trade food between each other. But it also says down here for survival, if a hero rolls all hexes during the skill phase, draw a power card. Oh, sorry, that's separate. Yeah, actually that's really cool. If you happen to roll all hexes, which I've never done yet, you get a power card, and that's actually really cool, and each hero gets it. But for the survival one, it says if you roll a hex on your survival check during your skill phase, each hero regains 1 lost energy, or you end any ongoing afflictions. That would actually be really cool if you happen to be maimed, which could end up happening sometime in the future. All right, so that is the movement done. Now we're going to go ahead and actually, sorry, that was the movement and the skill done. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move into the circumstance, which is going to be nasty because I don't know how this is going to actually pan out. So let's grab this die and see what circumstance we're going to be dealing with. We got a 4. Is 4 nice? Oh, no, it's not. It's a hag. Oh, no. So we got the hag. This one, we're going to have to deal with this one. Oh, my goodness. Look at the group energy on that thing. That is vicious. Oh, geez. They can capture you? Yikes. So we can become poison. We can get group energy. Targets who run out of energy suffer 2 health damage. Oh, my goodness. That is bad. That is very, very, very bad. Okay, so, well, we got to do it. We gotta do this. So what's really nasty about this, I just realized, is the fact that we have no more ability to summon anything up here. So when we go into this battle, my summoner can't even summon an entity or anything like that into the gameplay because there is nothing up there to grab. So that's going to make for this to be quite the combat. So we're going to go ahead and write 12 and 12 for the hag in terms of what they have for their stats. And the question really becomes, do we want to essentially go ahead and... I guess we could figure out what the hag's going to do in advance. That might not be a bad thing. So we can use our this treasure card up here and take it down to 2. This would allow us to actually go ahead and foretell by rolling the hex die before we declare attacks. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to roll this hex die to see what's going to happen first, because if we end up getting a group energy zap, then that's going to really affect how I plan to use the summoner. Well, maybe it doesn't, because I guess we'll be just doing a lot of phantom strikes and a lot of cleaving to try to survive this. Holy, this could be tough. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and roll this die. I don't really know if that was the best time to use it, but I'm using it anyway. We got a 5. So that is going to be a group energy hit. Targets who run out of energy suffer 2 health damage. Okay, so essentially, if I give this to the summoner and I deplete all the summoner's energy, the summoner would have to take 2 health damage as well. So it's a huge hit. Or I come over here to the Guardian and I have the Guardian lose all the energy, but doesn't take any damage. So that's kind of the thing. So we've already gone past the point of knowing full well that the summoner's not going to be able to summon anything. Downside is the summoner has a really, or the good side is a decent Phantom Strike. What I really was hoping is that I'd be able to do like a Reflected Assault here, but so I don't really want to take much damage because a Reflected Assault, I have an 8 on this stat, which is really high. It says the Guardian reflects damage here has suffered this round. Oh, actually I could reflect it back to her. That could be really good. Oh, that could be really good. Yeah, that's actually maybe exactly what I want to do. So knowing full well in advance that the group energy is going to get zapped, it might make sense prior to this happening to have the Guardian do this, because this Reflected Assault is going to shoot that 8 energy right back at the Hag, and it's going to drop the Hag's energy really low. Although the Hag would still technically have 4 times remaining to trigger this silly thing again, or 3 times after we expend 1. Ooh, that's tough. Let me see here. If you choose to reflect damage an ally has suffered, you take any remaining damage you have suffered. At rank 5, the target of this master gains a +3 boost to their next action rank. So that's actually, you know what, that's not bad. That's actually really good. So I'm gonna do that. So what we're gonna do in terms of declaring, because we used just so you guys understand, we used this to kind of cheat. It's not cheating though, it's legitimate within the rules to find out what the Hag's gonna do. Now we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and do a Reflected Assault. So the Reflected Assault's gonna reflect back whatever this Hag's gonna do. For the summoner, I might as well know full well that I'm not gonna be able to, I might as well, I can't summon. I can't do the invocation because you have to have a summon. So I have to either do Dimensional Shield or Phantom Strike. Now, if I do Dimensional Shield, that could potentially help me block some damage, which wouldn't be bad. That actually would allow me to block 3. So maybe that's what I do for this turn to block the damage that's coming at me. Can I use Dimensional Shield on a... No, I can't. I can't use it on somebody else. Whew, this is tough. There's a lot of strategy here in how I want to do this. But I really want my Guardian's Reflected Assault because I think that's really gonna come into play here. So, shoot, let's see. Let's go to... Maybe I should do Phantom Strike. Yeah, we don't want to waste too much time. I'm going to do Phantom Strike. So we're going to have a Phantom Strike, which is going to be 4 damage... from the summoner, and then we're going to have the Guardian do the Reflected Assault. Okay, and that's going to be basically dependent on what the Hag ends up getting here. So now we're going to go to the Hag and find out how the Hag hit us. So it says here group energy, so both of us are taking a hit. So now we're actually at this point now we're going to go ahead and resolve this entire combat, which is going to be quite fun. In the resolution phase, let's deal all of our damage up first. So the very first thing we know full well is that the summoner is going to go ahead and do a Phantom Strike against the Hag. So the Hag is going to drop to 8, which is a decent hit. I don't think the Hag has any ability at this particular point in time to defend against that, so that's good. So down to 8, that's the summoner dealt with. The next one we can do, and we're going to wait for energy here in a second because that's going to happen, but actually we might as well do that now because the Guardian's going to reflect all this back. So first off, we're going to have the Guardian do the Reflected Assault, which is going to knock 2 energy off of how much I have. So now I have 6. What's going to end up happening now is because this happens as a result of what happens here with the Hag, we're going to go ahead and resolve the Hag's one first, which is a 5. It says group energy. Targets who run out of energy suffer 2 damage. So essentially, both of our characters now are going to be hit for a group energy hit, which is going to deplete both of them. So both of them are going to lose all of their energy at this point. So now we're going to go ahead and just so you guys understand, you're always declaring your attack first. So even though it would seem that this Hag would actually drain all of your energy, I am able to still pull this off, except I'm going to take some health damage. So I'm going to take 8 energy damage, which is going to take me down to 0. And because I can't take the full 8, I lose 2 health on top of it. So now I'm at 6, which is really bad. But that's how it would pan out, except for the fact that it says right here, the Guardian reflects damage she or an ally has suffered this round. The damage is defended by Reflected Assault rank plus defend rank, and the total damage is reflected back against the attacker. So actually, none of this damage occurs, and that's what's really cool. I just wanted to show you guys kind of what it looks like. So basically, by picking that, I'm actually completely fine. I'm going to reflect the entire thing. I will lose 2 energy because, of course, it costs 2 to actually use Reflected Assault. But it's all being pushed right back at the summoner. So the summoner actually ends up losing the 8 energy, which will drop the summoner down to, or not the summoner, my mistake, the hag, sorry guys, the hag down to 4, but was able to consume the full total of 8, so it doesn't take an additional 2 damage from its own attack. It's kind of cool how that reflected one kind of bounces things back. The other thing, too, is the hag spends an energy just to do this. So the original attack that was being fired off at both characters cost 1 energy. So we're going to knock the hag down to 3. We also got to remember that this also impacts, because it's group energy, the summoner. So the hit goes against the summoner as well. So that's going to, and I can't stop this. So that's going to drain and deplete the energy of the summoner completely. And I'm also going to take a 2 hit there because I couldn't take a full 8. So that's really bad because the summoner now is very, very weak. But we just took some major hits against this particular hag, so we should be okay. So what we're going to do now is move into the final round here of, well, not the final round, but the next round of combat, because obviously everyone is still alive. So let's go ahead and declare what we want to do. So how do I want to do this? Now I actually still have energy, and I might as well do Reflected Assault again, because if I do, I can stop whatever is going to be thrown at me again. It would be silly not to. So I'm going to choose to do Reflected Assault again back at this hag, and I'm going to have the summoner do Phantom Strike to really hit hard again. So let's go ahead and see how this is going to pan out, because this could be very, very close. We got a 1. So 1 is going to be single target health. The target becomes poisoned. Okay, so that's not good. All right, so how are we going to resolve this? Well, we're going to go to damage first, and then we're going to go to everything else afterwards. So the very first thing we can do is determine what damage is going to be taken. So the summoner, of course, we might as well just give the summoner the damage versus the guardian, because the summoner is the one taking the pain right now, and can take 4 without dying. So let's do that. So we're going to drop it down to 1. That's super dangerous. The other thing is I do become poisoned, so let's review what poison does. So how poison work essentially is heroes are going to lose, or the hero that is poison is going to lose 1 health during the declaration phase of each round of combat and must succeed on a survival roll in order to use energy, so it really drains them. The poison condition ends when combat ends, though, so that's good to know, and this effect does not stack with itself, so it's not going to come back to haunt me, but going into the next combat round, it actually will kill the summoner, because there's no way that I can actually take, well, it won't kill, but it'll put me in risk of dying, essentially, if I don't use maybe my Angelborn ability to revive the summoner and keep the summoner alive. So this could be very close. So I've already taken the hag's hit, and I've chosen that the hag's going to hit the summoner because it was a single target. So now let's go ahead and deal the damage we wanted to do. So the summoner is hitting back for 4, so that's going to drop the hag down to 4. So this is very, very close. And then, of course, let me think about this. Oh, sorry. Actually, you know what? I want this hit to go against... Not my mistake. What am I talking about? I'm doing Reflected Assault on the Guardian. I want that reflected damage to go against the... and the poison to go against the Guardian so I can reflect it. So we're going to actually say that that attack will not hit the Summoner. I'm choosing this single target to be the Guardian, so I still have 5 health. And I'm not poisoned over there. But now over here, I take 5... I would take a 4 health hit and become poisoned, but that's going to be reflected back. So this is reflected back to this particular character, and 4 is all they have left, which is just enough to kill it. So just like that, we actually survived the attack by the hag. Holy, that was perfect. Okay, so because we killed off the hag, the group is going to gain 6 coins each. That's awesome. So now we're going to be up to 10 here for the... That's really good. Now I really want to go back to a city. So the Guardian has 10, and they're going to come over here to the Summoner, and the Summoner is going to go up to... What is it now? I think that was... I think it's 10 as well, actually. Yeah, because they're both at 4. They both could have 4. Wow, that's really, really good. And that's going to end it. That is it. So we dealt with the hags. Wow, I'm really impressed by that. Didn't expect that to go so well. Okay, so that was a massive, massive bunny trail. Now, here's the really nasty thing about this. We had the hag happen when we, as a circumstance, when we landed here, which means we're going to have to fight the boss now, and we are not doing so good on the health side of things, so this could be a very tough fight. So let's go ahead first and replenish the circumstance deck. So we got Will-O-Wisp, so that's really bad. 4 difficulty and higher seems to be quite tough to deal with. But hey, that allows us to potentially do a summon, which could really help us. So actually, you know what? That's really good. That could really, really help us out. But man, is my summoner ever in trouble. So right now we're in the event phase, and I do have a potion on my summoner. So let's review what a potion would do, because maybe a potion will get me back up on my feet again. Let's see what happens. So potion actually heals 3 health and energy. I think this is a good time to use it, seeing as we're going to have to go into a battle. So let's go ahead and bump the summoner back to full health and 3 energy. So that's not terrible. So we're going to be 7 and 3. That's a little better going into it. We're going to need that energy in order to do these 2 abilities here. Over here, we're decent for this kind of stuff. Do I have anything that can help me after a battle? No, not really. No, we don't really have anything here that's going to help us. So what's going to end up happening now is essentially we have now, we've ended our movement on a boss. So if we've ended our movement on a boss, we have to fight a terrible boss and rid the valley of its presence. So at this particular point, we're going into a combat round now with the number 1 boss, which happens to be the Bandit Prince, which is this individual right here. So I think we can do this. This is going to be quite the battle, but there's so many more things that this boss can do. And there's also really cool single awards as well as group awards we can gain. And for the first time, we can gain access to the black market if we defeat him. And we can even use our Shady Informant to get a bonus to actually apply 2 gold discount to whatever we purchased at the black market when we head there. So that's really cool. But we still have to beat this guy, and that's going to be quite the adventure. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited to fight the Bandit Prince. The first thing I want to do, though, just to correct this, is not really a correction, but to be sure that I actually consume the potion. I'm going to erase it here because we did consume the potion that we had purchased for the summoner, so that is now gone. All right, we're moving into combat. I've already put 25 and 16 for the Bandit Prince, so this is going to be quite the battle. I'm really interested to see probably what's going to happen. I think I might start using this die ability over here for the Palanquin man in order to determine what he's going to do next so that we can make a smart decision. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to consume one of those down, and we're going to roll to find out what the Bandit Prince will do first before we go ahead and declare our actions. We got a 5. This is Greedy Hand. It says, Group Explore. The Bandit Prince steals 2 gold from those who fail. Heroes who do not have the gold to lose suffer 4 health damage instead. Those who succeed evade his hand and lose nothing. Oh my goodness, that's bad. But hey, so this is how this is really useful, is that we know now he's going to go 5. But the cool thing is we know not to waste energy on a Reflected Assault, and that's really one of the major reasons why I'm using that, is so that I don't use Reflected Assault when he's not going to actually put damage on us that I can reflect, if that makes sense. So we're going to go ahead now and declare what we want to attack with, or how we want to attack. Because he's not attacking us, we might as well do our abilities that'll actually do damage. So I'm going to cleave. So I'm going to be doing, in the end, 3 damage to him. So I'm going to put a 3 right here to say we'll be doing 3 damage, or I guess I'll -3. And then over here, the summoner is going to probably go ahead and start to summon, I think, would make the most sense to get ready to bring out a more nasty individual. I want to use that energy to get it out quick. So if I use Summoning Circle, it says summon to open an encounter, starting this round and continuing for a number of rounds equal to half your Summoning Circle rank, the encounter. So this would be, I've already done the math, essentially the summon will be out for 3 rounds. Roll the action die to determine its action. Let's see here. Roll the action die to determine its action. A summoner uses mastery while summoning, but there's a whole bunch of other things we can do here, but basically we're just going to summon wonderfully the Will-O-Wisps in. So I'm going to choose to do the Summoning Circle. That's going to be what I do. So I'll just put an S here, and now we're going to go ahead and just resolve things. So first we do damage always, so we're going to go ahead and just take a straight 3 off of the Bandit King. So we're taking a nice cleave into the Bandit's side, so he's bleeding out a little bit, and then we've got what looks like a 5, but it's actually an S for my ability here. So we might as well do the Summoning Circle. So summon an open encounter. So first off, I'm going to summon the Will-O-Wisps, which is now on my side, which is awesome. I'll grab a Hex die because this is now going to be part of my pool that I can potentially use against this guy. All right, so yes, indeed, as soon as we summon, we actually get to start rolling this Hex die, but we have 3 rounds. So I'm going to go ahead every round and just deplete a die so that we know how many we have. So we have 3 rounds. I'm going to knock this down to 2. I'm going to roll the Hex die to find out what the Will-O-Wisp would do to the Bandit Prince. We got a 1, which is going to be a group health. It's a block 15. That's really high, holy. If the wisps suffer damage, they become untargetable until next round. Okay, cool, but it's not going to affect us because we know what the Bandit Prince is doing, but I'm going to be able to do 3 damage. So let's just go ahead and give the Bandit Prince another hit. So the Bandit Prince is now down to, that's terrible math, down to 19. All right, so we got him down to 19. That's actually really good. Now we have to resolve this greedy hand thing that he did to us. So the Bandit Prince steals 2 gold from those who fail. So we're going to have to do a group explore roll. So we're going to go ahead and roll our explore die. That should be fun. So we're going to go ahead and grab a green, and I have to get above my... Oh, sorry, that's not the right die. Yellow. It's a yellow die. Yellow's explore. So I need to be above a 3 or lower, sorry. I got a 10, so I failed. So I do lose some gold, so I'm down to 8 now. And we're going to come over here and do the same thing for the summoner. I got a 4 on the summoner. I got a 4. So I don't lose any gold, and I successfully fend him off, and I lose nothing. So he tried to pickpocket me, and nothing happened. Whew, okay. So that's going to end this round of combat. Now we're going to move into the next round of combat. So what are we going to do? Well, we might as well use our last one to find out what the Bandit Prince is going to do. So now I've consumed this item completely, so this treasure is now gone. Sadly, it was a really good one. For some reason, I can't get this off the table, so we'll just pull it off that way. So that is now been used. Its final time and is now discarded. It's going to allow us to roll a hex die for the Bandit Prince to see what he will do. 3. Magic Potion. That doesn't sound good. No, he's going to heal for 5 health. That's going to put him right back to 24. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 5 health. The Bandit Prince heals 5 points of lost health this round. Oh, okay, from this round. Roll the boss die again and ignore a result of 1, 3, or 4. Oh, geez. Oh, wow. That's his first mastery. Oh, my goodness. That's really bad. Okay. Oh, and he does expend an energy to do that, so we don't want to forget that. He didn't expend anything for the green hand, but he will for this one. But he still has tons of energy, so it's not really an issue. I'll go ahead now. We're gonna wipe this away and put 19 and 16 because that's really what's at the top of this for the beginning of this round. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be interesting. So, all right. So we know what he's doing. What are we gonna do? If he's going to heal up to 5 damage, then what is the purpose of me attacking him? He's just gonna heal it anyway. So what do we do? Maybe we just defend. I think defending makes sense at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and probably defend for 3 in case he happens to end up doing an attack back at us. So I'm going to choose to defend with the Guardian, I think. And I'm going to choose to... Because like he won't be able to... I was saying before that he'd be able to heal 5 back up from the 19 to 24. That's not true. It's this damage that I do this round. So that 19 will stay. So I'm thinking of just sitting put and not doing much. Now, the Will-O-Wisp, the sad thing is, this thing's going to attack. I can't stop it from attacking. You always have to roll the die. So I'm going to lose 1 full round, and he might even swallow up some of that damage, which is too bad for me. But I can decide to do something different. I could put up a shield as well. Shoot. Let's go ahead and... yeah. Let's wait. Let's do another defend. So both of my heroes are going to defend against him, and he's rolled magic. So if I'm defending, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting put and defending. If I come over here to the Bandit Prince, we know he's going to heal 5 health, but first I should roll for the Will-O-Wisp to see if he actually ends up doing any damage. So let's see. I got a 2. What does a 2 do? Oh, it does actually do damage. So it's a group 3 hit, but that's going to be swallowed up and healed, so the Bandit Prince takes nothing. If the wisps suffer damage, blah, 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 nothing else happens. So that was kind of a burn of a turn for the spirit. That's too bad. Another thing to remember, guys, is that my favorite opponent is a spirit and a creature. So I haven't hit that yet. This is a humanoid, so I don't get any kind of extra bonus, which would be wonderful. Allows you to use kind of extra dice to make more nasty hits. So now that we've done that, and the Bandit Prince has done its healing, I'm going to roll this die again, because it says roll the boss die again and ignore a result of 1, 3, or 4. Here's hoping for one of those. Ah, got a 2. No. So defend 2, not going to come into effect. It says each incoming attack is reduced by 2 damage, whatever. Any target who damages the Bandit Prince suffers 2 health, which cannot be defended. But we're done. So nothing else happens. That's good. So that's going to complete this round. I'm 19 to 16. However, when he did his first magic potion one here, it did expend 1 energy. So we're going to knock this energy down to 15. All right, so he's expending a little bit of energy, not much. We'll go ahead and knock out the declaration stuff. And we're going to start another combat round. Now, I've run out of treasure to use, so I'm going into this one completely blind. So I'm going to choose to Reflect Assault, I think. I think this is a good time to do that. Yes, I'm going to Reflect Assault. So this is going to expend 2 energy off of me. So I'm going to end up going down to 4. And I'm going to end up doing, I'll just put RA, because that's what I'm choosing to do with the Guardian. With the Summoner, I'm going to end up using the Will-O-Wisp, but I can do something else on top of that. I might want to use Invocation. May only be used when the Summoner has an active ongoing summon, which I do. Deals health damage to an opponent equal to Phantom Strike rank, which is 4, plus Invocation, which is 7. That's a lot. Plus twice the level of our current summon. So, plus twice the level of the current summon. So that would be 8 on top of all that. Oh my goodness, that's really strong. At rank 5, the summoner may choose which action her summon makes this round. Oh, that's really good. I could just, oh my goodness, that's super powerful. Wow, this is awesome. This could really be a massive amount of damage. I definitely have rank 5. I'm at 7. The summoner may choose which action or summon. That's crazy powerful. Okay, so wow. All right, so let's do this. We're going to definitely do Invocation, so that's going to end up costing us some energy as well. So let's go ahead and resolve this, but first we have to roll to find out what's going to happen for the Bandit Prince. We've now made our declaration. Bandit Prince gets a 3, so he's doing the same magic potion thing again, which is terrible timing. Okay, so what we're going to do here is go through all the damage, because he's just going to heal and roll again, so we'll do all the damage. We're going to go against him first. So the very first thing that's going to happen is we'll do the RA Reflected Assault, which is basically completely wasted because he didn't end up attacking us, but he does roll again later on, so we might be able to use it when he rolls again and gets something that's not a 1, 3, or 4. So we'll see how that pans out. So I'll just consider this a wash in terms of the Guardian doing anything back. It does say here at rank 7 she may use Defend or Cleave while using this ability. Oh, I didn't notice that. So I have over... Oh, sorry, no, I'm not over. I only have 4. My mistake, so I don't get that. But at rank 4, the Guardian may use this mastery outside of combat to shield their allies from damage by spending 1 energy per ally. Well, that's good to know. Doesn't really help me too much. But that's shielded ally. We did Reflected Assault. I was just reading that because I haven't read that in a bit. So do we have any bonuses here? Yeah, we'll get a boost, I guess, for the next turn, which is good. So actually, if I'm doing that one, I might as well put down to give myself a boost 3 for the next turn, so I don't forget on my next thing. Okay, so he's sitting put for now, but the summoner can go, and I can choose on the summoner rank 6 or higher, which I... Oh, no, I'm... let me see here. Oh, I was reading this all wrong, guys. I apologize in the last one. That might have confused a lot of you. This first mastery right here, 4, goes to here, and second mastery, 7, goes to here. So, no, I don't have the ability to do the most powerful things here. I only have the ability to... Well, I guess I have... No, that's not true. Invocation... No, never mind. I'm crazy. Forget what I just said. I do have the, I was looking at the right one. So I'm at rank 7, and all of this can happen from 5 and above, which I'm going to do. So we're going to do this right now. So how this is going to work is it's going to be 4, which comes from here, 7, which comes from here. Those are added together, plus times 2 the level of the current summon. So the current summon is a 4. So in terms of determining your level for your, and actually I never actually put the health of the summon, so I'll put that in there. But in terms of determining the level of your summon, I'll explain how that works right now as well. So essentially this summon has a 4, it's going to be times 2 that, so that's an 8, and then that 8 is going to be added on top of the 4 and the 7, so it's 8 and 7 is 15, and then 4 is 19. That's a crazy amount of damage, so that's absolutely amazing. Holy crap, that's a lot. I do have to, I might as well go ahead now because I'm doing both of these and pay my energy costs. So essentially that one's going to cost me 1 energy and drop me to 2. Guardian has already chosen to use Reflected Assault but just hasn't done it yet. So I'll drop that to 3. That's a ton of damage and that's in the wrong pool. That 19 should be on the health side of things. So we're going to put the 19 over here. That's crazy powerful. And the other bonus of doing this is I get to pick which action I take this round. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say... this one says single target health. I need to get enough damage to get past this silly, he's going to block 5 of this damage, so I need more. What can I do to hurt him? Single target health. If the target suffers none, A second target suffers 8. I'm going to do this bottom one. This bottom one for sure for 6 damage. So that's going to be 6. This is overkill. We've got him easily now. So I've used the Will-O-Wisp. That's all done. We'll go over to him. He's going to actually block 5 of this. So essentially we'll just say he's blocking. It really doesn't matter because I think I've got it in the bag. So we'll drop this down to 14. And then it says the Bandit Prince heals 5 points of lost health this round, which we just did. Roll the boss die again and ignore a 1, 3, or 4. I got a 4, so we ignore it. He's done. I'm going to put all the damage into account now and also write on the table. We got 14, so that's 20 damage total going up here to our 19, and bam, this guy is dead. We destroyed this particular Bandit Prince, no problem. And I just did it in time before the Will-O-Wisps were discarded. So they are now done. Our characters are still alive and doing great. Like, I don't understand how we ripped through that like it was nothing. That summoner ability is absolutely crazy powerful. Okay, so that is going to end this particular combat. So now we're going to go ahead and deal with all the awards that we gain from defeating this boss. Now it's time for the best part of killing off a big boss, and that is cashing in on all the amazing rewards. So first off, we've got these single awards, and how this works, and you can do this 2 different ways. You can either just choose who gets what, in terms of I can give one person a potion and give +2 to the other, or I could just roll for them. So in order to keep this random, I'm going to roll, because I'm going to pretend as if we've got like 2 players here and they're fighting over the rewards. So the first roll is basically whoever's got the highest roll. So we're rolling our navigate die, because again, this will be a bonus to navigate, just makes sense. And that's based on the rules as well. You just roll a 10-sided die and see who gets the highest. It doesn't really matter which one, essentially. But the Guardian here is going to roll and see what he gets. A 5, okay? And then the Summoner is going to roll and got a 6, so it looks like the Summoner is actually going to get that navigate. And you know what? Of all people to get it, that's probably one of the best, because the Guardian's already got a decent 4, so now this is going to be not so bad anymore, because that 1 was really hurting the Summoner every single time we navigated. Although we don't wander with our amazing Astrolabe, but still, that is a 3 now, so that's not bad. Next up is the potion, so the next player to get that's going to be over here. So the Guardian is going to obtain a potion in the backpack, so we'll take that. I might end up trading that back over to the Summoner. I don't know, we might hold on to it for a while. We're only hurting for energy, so we just need to replenish that. And next up is the group award. So this is really, really cool. We're going to go ahead and take some power-up cards and some gold and food. So we'll go ahead with the Guardian first. The Guardian is going to take 2 power-up cards, 4 gold, and 4 food. So let's go ahead and add this. Man, reaping these rewards at the end is amazing. So I had 8 after that battle because the Bandit Prince pit-pocketed me a little bit. But we ended up pulling it right back out of his pockets. So we're back from 8 to 12 gold now. That's good. Food-wise, we actually go up 4 food, which is pretty good, and I can only go to my highest at 5, so I'm basically just going to max my food all the way out. And then coming over here to... Actually, before we go even further, we'll just go ahead and grab those 2 power-up cards and see what we get. So let's see... Ooh, 3 total. Your choice. Distribute this bonus between any of the following: vitals, abilities, or skills. Oh, we can actually choose which ones they go into. That's super awesome. Okay, so... we can even do it into vitals as well. Oh, I think I might need to do that. I want to boost up my vitals, although I can actually spend money to boost my vitals. But you know what? My vitals are really weak. And oh, you know what though? They're cheap though. 2, 3. They're the cheapest ones. It actually makes more sense to use this for abilities because they're super expensive now to go up, especially these other ones. So I think bumping up my let me think about this actually. Shielded Ally is really good too. This is tough. What's the most expensive right now? We got 5, 5, 6, 6. So Shield Ally and Reflected Assault are by far the most expensive. So I could do like 1, 2, and then maybe Cleave. Yeah, that might not be a bad idea actually. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do, we're going to go from 3 to 4 here. I'm going to bump my Cleave up to 4. I want to be able to chew through these enemies a little bit better. My shield, what's the benefit here for the ranks? At rank 7, it can use Defend or Cleave while using this ability. Oh, that's really powerful. Actually, you know what? Shielded Ally is really good. I'm going to actually not take the Cleave, because the Cleave, I can live with that being a 3, because I've got really powerful abilities here. I'm going to actually bump up Shield Ally from 4 to 7 because I want this ability. It says at rank 7, she can use Defend or Cleave while using this ability, and that's really good. So Clarissa's definitely going to be way up there. And then I don't have to spend lots of money to get that all the way up. So bam, we've got, so the Guardian becomes even more powerful. That was really cool. So that's it. I'm thinking of using gold at some point to bump my vitals up because that's really important. Our vitals are not exactly the highest, and we're going to need to do that. So then we're going to grab another power card because there's 2 in the picture. This one says Secondary Mastery gains +1. That's perfect because that is going to be this one right here, the Reflected Assault. So that's going to go to a 9. That makes everything better. Over here, that's going to bump... This Reflected Assault value actually needs to go up as well. So actually, let's update all of these numbers. So it's going to go up to a 9. That's really high. And that changes. That's going to make this a 9. My shield here is a 3. This shield's a 3, and this is a 4. No, this is a 7 now. So my shield ally, that's way higher than it used to be because I just bumped it up. So now I've done all the math on these. This will make it easier later on when I'm fighting, and that's going to be it. That's all the group awards for the Guardian. So coming over here to the Summoner is going to go through a similar pattern. We're going to gain some gold. We're going to gain some food. Although my food is really high, but it's going to max itself right out because I can carry it max 10. So boom, from 6 all the way back up to 10. My gold is going to go up by 4. So that's pretty good. This is great. Bosses are fantastic. And we're going to go ahead now and pull 2 power cards and see what we get. Pick 2. Let us face the next threat. Your choice. Distribute this bonus between any of the following. Awesome. So we got +1 on each one. So how do we want to make the best use of this? Now, if I get Summoning Circle up to rank 6, it says the Summoner's active summon rolls an additional 6-sided dies, extra damage, and the extra damage can HEXplode. That's what I want, and it's expensive to bump that Summoning Circle up, so that's what I'm doing. I want this Summoner to be able to do Hexplosion dice. That sounds awesome. So we're going to bump this thing up to a 6. Like that, and wow, our characters are getting up there for sure, and I still get 1 more power card. Attack and Secondary Mastery, never say never. So I'm going to go up 1 and 1. What is that? Oh, my Invocation and my Phantom Strike just went up even higher. This is awesome. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit more bold. Now, the one thing that, like I said, is really lacking with my characters is their vitals. I'm really getting up there with their stats, but their vitals are super, super behind for dealing with the heavier monsters. I realized I've gone to a couple fights even that are shown up here in the circumstance area, which actually I have to replenish after this fight. We found ourselves a treasure chamber, which we can potentially get into at some point. Sorry for the glare there. And that, ooh, that's really interesting. That's actually got the ability for us to get a lot of gold. That's actually really cool. So I'll put that back up there. But essentially, yeah, I don't know what I was saying. My mind has gone elsewhere after I saw the treasure thing. But regardless, this is really good. Now, how is this going to affect this area over here? Well, this is going to be, let's do the math out here. Now when I summon something, the duration of that summon is going to be 6 divided by 2 plus 1. So that's going to be 4. So basically, my summons now are going to last 4 rounds instead of 3. That's even better. My summon health doesn't apply anymore because it's gone. And in terms of invocation damage, I'm actually up to an 8, or a 5 and an 8 now. So it's gotten even better. It's even more deadly than it was before. There we go. Wow, that's insanity. So good. Okay, guys, so now we're going to move on to the black market. You guys have not seen the black market before, so this should be very exciting. Now that we've defeated the Bandit King, we have a chance to potentially find the black market. Now, it's not an automatic thing. You actually have to open the black market. As you can see here, it says the black market's not available at the start of the game, as it wasn't for us. After you defeat a boss, you count the number of bosses you defeated, so 1. And roll a 10-sided die. This die is rolled once per hero. If you roll that number or lower on the 10-sided die, the black market will open up on your space. And then it says moving the black market at the end of every game turn, so basically around the Dead King's turn, the black market is going to roam, so you're going to roll this die here and determine which direction it's going to go. It is considered a city, so that's pretty cool. It says the first result becomes the direction of the movement, and then the second becomes the number of hexes moved. So the first one will roll, it might say, okay, you're moving, southeast, but then the next one it rolls as a 5, so it's moving 5 spots southeast. So it can really start moving, and it might be hard to catch up to it. But essentially, the black market may actually reveal new map tiles if it crosses a border where you can place a new one. So as the black market travels off on the world, it's going to open up other areas of the map, which is really cool. It is considered a city, but it's a city that can't be targeted by the Dead King. So the Dead King can't chase after it and try to take it down. But we can certainly try to chase after it for its benefits to spend money there. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this Shady Informant event that we got way at the very beginning of the game. And man, was it ever helpful. And I can show you guys why it was that we got this. It says you've crossed paths with an informant who has connections in the black market. This is back way at the beginning. He's giving you some tips on just where they may be operating. When you roll to open the black market, treat the number of bosses you defeated as 2 higher. So now we've got essentially 3 bosses defeated because of this informant giving us some information. After the black market opens, each hero may apply a 2 gold discount to their next purchase there. That's cool. But we still have to roll a 10-sided die to see if we open it, and one of our characters has to succeed. So we're going to roll a green die. We need to get a 3 or lower in order for this to open up. Otherwise, it doesn't. We got a 5, so that's 1 failure. So we're 50% down the tubes already. So we're hoping our summoner is able to reveal the black market. And we do. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it just went over to 5 and came back. But we successfully did it all because of that Shady Informant. Wow, that was super close. So we're going to toss that Shady Informant, and now the black market is going to actually reveal itself on the game board, which is way up here, and it's going to show up right underneath of us. So this is really cool because we gain access to it right away, and we get a 2 gold discount for anything here at the black market. So let's take a quick look at what things we can buy. So it says the black market's an additional city, as I mentioned. You may heal, turn in quests, and purchase all items normally available in town, as well as more lucrative items listed below. So if we want to go ahead and heal, it does cost 1 gold, and that would get all of our vitals and everything all the way back up. And I think that makes sense because we want our energy to be regenerated, and we don't want to wait too long to have that happen. So I'm going to spend a gold for every character in order to basically get our vitals back up to full health. So the black market is going to get us to 8 and 8, and then we're going to go ahead over here and do the exact same thing. So we're going to go ahead and get our energy levels for the summoner up to 7, and that's going to cost us 1 gold, so we'll be down to 13. But with that discount, the discount that I'm going to be applying is I'm going to wait to apply it to one of these particular items, whatever they are. So we've got a health stone here. It automatically heals 3 damage when your hero reaches 1 or less remaining health and crumbles to dust. Oh, that's really good. Troll's Blood, regen 6 health and energy for 3 combat rounds, or heal 12 health and energy outside of combat. Oh my goodness, that's crazy powerful too. It has an asterisk on it though. So it says this item may not be used in combat by this item may be used in combat by performing the defense action. So it basically becomes kind of the use item situation when you're defending. Adrenaline booster starting next round and lasting for 3 combat rounds. Roll the 6-sided die each round and add the result to the rank of the action you make. Wow, that's really good too. These are getting progressively more expensive. The amulet may be used once every 3 combat rounds during the resolution phase of a combat. Its use removes all ongoing conditions which burden you. Revival ritual. This potential ritual allows the group to revive a single dead companion. Okay. Allows a single hero to act twice in 1 combat round. Interesting. These ones are almost too expensive for me to do, but I could do this one. The Shaman's Tool increases the group's favored opponent die from a 6-sided die to a 10-sided die. This die explodes on... Oh my goodness, that's outrageous. And then this one is most prized creation. When a hero earns gold, they now earn twice as much. This item affects the entire group. Oh! What? That's really good. When we gain gold, we gain twice as much if we spend 10 per hero. That's so tempting. But you know what, guys? As much as... this is so tough. Some of these are amazing. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? You guys have seen a number of these now. I hope you're able to pause the screen and take a look at them as you want. And I've done a decent glimpse over the black market. I'm not going to decide this. I'm going to throw it back to you guys because I want you guys to let me know how to spend my money for this particular term. Because in my opinion, this is really important. We either want to go after a really, really cool item that we're not maybe going to be able to buy later on, or we need to spend a lot of money, which again, it's only 2, 3, 4. We can actually spend quite a bit of money to bump our vitals way up, and that would really help us in fights because obviously if your vitals are low, you're going to have a hard time beating up these bigger bosses. So that might be something we need to spend all of our money on. So the question goes back to you guys. Should we spend it on vital increase, or should we go after some items in the black market? And if we do go to the black market and buy something here, then which we're already at, then which items should we get? So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to put a pause on us at the black market, and I'm going to roll for the hex, because technically next up would be the Dead King's movement. So the Dead King moves 2, so it doesn't actually get to the city yet, but gets really close. So now it's just 1 away from the target city. But now we have it going back to you guys. What should we do going into the next video? And that's going to wrap it up. Oh, the other thing, no, it's not. I forgot. I'm in a city. I can cash this in. So let's cash in our Explore quest for a power-up card. Absolutely going to do that. So we're going to throw that aside. We'll also reveal a new quest. We got an aid quest here for A. That's good because it's on a hex that we're actually at. So this is going to be A. Where is A? Oh, look at that. It's right behind the Dead King. How perfect. Okay, so what do we get from that particular quest? Each of our characters is going to gain a power card, so let's hope that they're actually something good. Power card for the Guardian. Oh my goodness, look at that. 1 extra health. Couldn't have been more perfect. So we just gained an extra health, and of course when you gain the extra health, your vitals also increase. So 9 and 9, that's fantastic. Couldn't have worked out any better. And then let's gain 1 for the Summoner. And attack and defend. That's not bad. A double bonus there. So my attack is now going to go to a 6 here. This Phantom Strike is getting really deadly. And we've got a defense of 4. Wow, my Summoner is one of the most evenly built characters across the board now. That's really good. Again, like I was saying, guys, it goes back to you guys. What do you think I should do about the vitals? The vitals are my weakness, or they're my weak point right now. But man, this game is getting more and more fun as I go along. I'm really enjoying the leveling. I think this is really, really cool. And I'm just really having a lot of fun with this one. So thanks so much, guys, for the support on the channel. Really hope you enjoyed this episode. This was quite a long one, but I really thought we accomplished a ton in this episode. So thanks so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.